do you want from me? I'm just blood and flesh and bones. I'm not an answer.
Welcome to Mildly Entertaining at UNCW, the show where the Office of Military Affairs keeps you mildly entertained and more or less up to date on what's going on at UNCW. Your hosts are Joanna DeMott, the Military Liaison and Program Coordinator, and Melanie Nelson, the Military Student Services Specialist. Hello, Joanna. How are you and where are you?
I am great. I'm in Jacksonville at Marine Corps Air Station New River. It's relatively quiet, no helicopters passing over yet, but that could happen. So
Prepare for background noise. Got it. So you're actually in the office today. You're not teleworking.
I'm not teleworking.
Such a change. Such a change. Does it feel strange?
It actually does. You know, being on a Marine Corps base is a different place to be. And anybody who's been on one before, that every room, every building smells the same. There's lots of cinder block. But it kind of feels like home. You know, it does.
It's a terrible smell, but it does feel like home. I know exactly what you
mean. How's it going over there, Melanie?
Things are going. We've had a couple more students drop by where, you know, it's a lovely fall day. Busy times. Let's find out how our guest is doing.
Absolutely. We have Heather McWhorter, the Regional Director of UNCW Small Business Technology and Development Center. How are you today, Heather?
I am doing great. How are you?
You know, it's amazing to be here. I don't know a lot about the center, so I'm really interested to get into that here in a minute. Right now, what I want to know is, how has your work situation changed since March?
Yeah, so, well, at our center, as far as our work situation, I've actually hired 3 people since the pandemic hit here, and 2 at other campuses as well, because of the type of work that we do with helping with disaster recovery. And so we've been helping people get all those SBA loans and other disaster loans that you see in the headlines. And so we've been helping businesses get the loans, and we've been also helping businesses in other ways because money isn't everything. And so been doing that, but we've all been doing that while teleworking. And so that's a whole new world for us. You know, how do you really assess the manufacturer that you're helping via Zoom? But we've done it, and our team has done great.
That's excellent. I'm so interested to hear about that disaster recovery and stuff. But Melanie right now has a very important question for you as you are working from home.
Yes, because we're all in the work from home environment. And we did spend a good deal of time in interviews at the beginning of the pandemic talking about exactly that. How do you assess your validity when you've shifted your whole modality to the virtual world? So we feel your solidarity there. It sounds like you're doing a great job. What we need to know is how you are fueling the work you are doing virtually, teleworking, keeping the good fight going through your snacking habits. What are you snacking on these days? Has it changed from the way it was when you were going into the Small Business Technology and Development Center? Or are you still sort of maintaining the same snacking habits? What are your favorites? I keep a running list. Update us.
Well, my snacking habits, I feel like, are being more healthy. At the office, I kept a treat bowl. And so to keep the team going, I'd be like, hey, I'm not a bad person. Come in and visit me and have a Hershey Kiss while you're in here. But the problem is, between meetings, I'd eat them. So here, I've really tried to keep my fiance from buying those. But I still have some peppermint patties sitting right over there. And yeah, the refrigerator is about 20 feet from where I'm sitting. So at our work, we do have a Slack channel right now called Random. And on that random one, it's like, help, I'm into the Hershey bars again, or into the Twizzlers. Stop me now. So I think all of us struggle with that at home. But the good news is we can take advantage of the time we're not teleworking and maybe go for an extra walk. So
Yes,
You
that's
know.
true. That balance is a good thing. I love that
Right.
you have a Slack channel devoted to random things because sometimes there are things that don't need to go in like our main Teams chat that I would love to
Mhm.
throw into a random. So we might be looking into that. That might be a new office
Mhm.
management tool that we develop. But I particularly love that the random line is mostly full of snacks. See, we always joke about how important this question is, but snacking is vital to the
It is
American office
real.
work culture. I mean, we can't get away from it. Yeah, it's interesting what you say about that treat bowl and how you're like luring people into your office to get them to come talk to you. I may or may not have used a similar tactic at various points of my career, but what's really funny about that is that it really just, turned against you and you were the one you needed to lure
Absolutely.
away from work, as it turns out.
Mhm.
Fascinating. Okay, so not necessarily related to your snacking journey. Let's go talk about your college experience just to throw you in a new direction. And how would you say your college experience wound up getting you to where you are now?
Oh my gosh. So it was such an interesting journey. So here I am. I help businesses and entrepreneurs from the Cameron School of Business. You would think I have an MBA, right? I'm actually an engineer. Not at all. Has nothing to do with what I do, except for the problem solving part. And so I went to Penn State in the 80s in chemical engineering. And then from there, I actually became a defense contractor, which some of your listeners might be interested in. So I've been to a lot of different bases. I was helping all the military branches and NASA with some joint pollution prevention issues. So we were looking at coatings on the aircraft that were also similar with some NASA coatings, trying to find some better solutions. So then I had my second baby, and I was living a mile from Penn State, and that's when I started doing what I do now. So I decided to live a little bit closer rather than flying all over the U.S. to the different bases. And shortly thereafter, I started my master's at Penn State in energy and mineral engineering. Again, nothing to do with starting businesses, but I think that the core set of problem solving, like I said, and every day a different business comes into us with a different problem, and just being able to frame that and figure out how to move forward. Those core skills apply, and the core skills of communication and the core skills, and so I think that the importance of a university education is it really teaches thinking and problem solving. It doesn't necessarily teach carpentry. Also critical. I love carpenters. My fiance is a carpenter, so I can use that. But our degrees can take us a lot of different places.
That is fascinating. And it's true. And that's kind of what we're establishing through this series of questions is, I teach Uni 201 here. I work with transfer students. They just turned in their first papers on how they came to choose the major that they've chosen so far, or why they're still undecided if they haven't decided. And it's so interesting how, there are so many different majors at UNCW. I can't even keep track of them all. We're always adding new programs, which is wonderful, but it's hard to keep track of. And you look at some of them and you think, well, gosh, that sounds pretty specific. And I guess there's a limited range of jobs that you can do after you get that particular degree. But then, you went from chemical engineering to a much more specific version of engineering. And then if you continue down that academic track, it just narrows and narrows and narrows until you really do have just one or two tracks. Whereas at the undergraduate level, you can really turn around and do all kinds of stuff. Like you said, it's developing that awareness of your core set of skills that you're getting through that degree program. And I think we've seen that with a lot of our interviews recently, that people have other things happen in their lives that take them away from one path and into another. And look, now here you are getting to do all kinds of problem solving. And let me tell you, I bet you have lots of interesting things to say about problem solving in the COVID era. And that is what I'm going to hand you.
I do. Well, and I'll say before we get to that too, as far as this university degree you have and what you want to do with it. I actually teach online for another university, and mostly senior engineering students take this class, and it's called Entrepreneurial Leadership. And a lot of them at that point, we teach them about entrepreneurship, which is how to make change within an existing company, but then also entrepreneurship, and we build a business over the course of a semester. But a lot that are taking this class, they have this engineering degree, and they're like, and I kind of really want to start a business because there's really this problem that I want to solve. And so we talk about, well, maybe you should still take that offer from the Inc. 500 that's on the table, but there's ways to start that on the side. So you get your student debt paid off, and you can still pursue your passion. So I think there's a lot of different ways to do what you're best at in this world.
Definitely.
So the Small Business Technology and Development Center, do you call it the SBTDC? Is that what we call it?
I do.
All right.
Yes, SBTDC at UNCW.
Lots of letters. We like it though. We love a good acronym. What if you could say, like, what's the core business there? Who do you run through? What do you guys do there?
Sure. So, well, we provide free and confidential assistance to people that want to start businesses and to existing small businesses that want to improve. So they want capital, they want to add employees, they need our help in some way. We're basically nonprofit business counselors paid for by the Small Business Administration, SBA, the federal government, as well as the state. And so that's our core services. We want to add jobs to the community, and we want to see capital flow within the community. We help about 500 clients a year in our 6-county region. We cover up to Jacksonville, of course, the Wilmington area, and then out to Whiteville. I'm sorry, I came from the north. I'll correct that right now. And you know, that I really feel like we help a lot of people with the tools that they need to succeed, with making their dream come true and with helping their business.
That's excellent. What is your favorite part of what you do? What is your absolute favorite part?
Oh my goodness, there's so many things. So I've been doing this for 20 years. I started at Penn State and I did it for 17 years there. And I've been here at UNCW for 3 years. I think it's just really, my favorite part, I think, is working one-on-one with the businesses. As a director, I don't get to do that a whole bunch. I love working with the team members as well when I'm not eating the Hershey Kisses in between the meetings. But I think it's just seeing the individuals succeed.
I would imagine that would be very rewarding. What do you think some misconceptions are when they see your name? What do you think? That have you had any weird requests or anything like that?
As far as SBTDC, we get a lot of people that want us to write their business plans for them. We get that very regularly, and we do not write them for someone because that's not going to help them in the long run, because they really need to be part of that journey. Same way with like cash flow projections. They have to own that business. We can't be there every day with them. And that's why we're related to universities. We're really here for education and educating the small business owner. So I think that's number one.
Excellent. So yeah, so somebody should have a great idea about what they're going to do, but you'll help them with tools that they can use to write
tools. Absolutely. And if they come to us with a first draft, by all means, we will review that. We will do market research for them. You know, we do a whole bunch, but we're not going to write it for them from scratch.
That's excellent. Let's see. So there's something coming up, right? Is there an event that you'd like our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a program called Taking the Leap, LEAP. It is a 4-week long program that is held on Tuesday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. And it is for people that have an idea that want to turn that idea into a business. It is free. It is a fantastic program, and I can say that because I designed it myself. No. So we've had it for about a year now, and about half of the people that attend actually start their business during that 4-week period. And so if someone has an idea and they want to start a business, they should definitely take that. We go through how to identify the problem you're solving, how to figure out the business structure you want to have, how to determine your startup costs, your operating costs, how to price your product. I mean, it is a crash course in starting a business, but it is fantastic. And it also, like, if you've had this idea for like 5 years, 10 years, people get these ideas about starting businesses and they don't move forward with them. This is the place to move forward with that idea. And maybe during the course of that, some people have realized that there wasn't a market for their idea, so they can forget about that idea and move on to their next great idea. And that one, if you just go to our website at sbtdc.org/UNCW, it's right on there. The next one starts on October 13th. Again, it's 4 consecutive Tuesdays in the evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. It's on Zoom right now, like everything. But it is a wonderful program to help people.
That's amazing. And taking your 20 years of experience in this field and putting it into a really compacted program sounds amazing. I know people sometimes they're afraid to go in someplace or talk to somebody. So being able to do it from the comfort of your own home from 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesdays would be very attractive, I would imagine. And I know I've promoted it on my own personal social media, and hopefully we'll get a lot of participants and we'll see some new businesses
Thank you.
in the area. Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
I want to thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a real pleasure to get to meet you and get to know you a little bit better.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. Thanks for sharing your story, fellow Penn State alum. And there are a lot of us around here. Who knew? So yes, we will share more information about that upcoming workshop. That sounds really exciting for a lot of our audience. And thank you again for coming on the show. This has been an episode of Mildly Entertaining at UNCW, and we will see you on the internet.
Thank you for listening to Mildly Entertaining. Our intro music comes from the band Blue Turnip and their song, What Do You Want From Me? You can find their EP, Songs from the Root Cellar, on Bandcamp, iTunes, Amazon, and Spotify. For more information, you can go to blueturnipmusic.com.